The S&P 500 is now up over 70% in the last 5 years, and in the last year alone, it feels like we're continually hitting new all-time highs. We're up by 20.7%, but not every company has been benefiting from this run-up. In fact, if we look at Domino's Pizza in the last 5 years, it's now down by 37.67%, and if we look into last year, down by 37%. Now, this is really interesting because Domino's had one of the greatest runs in the stock market of all time. They're in the midst of a 45% drawdown. This is true, but from 2009 to 2021, they posted positive returns every single year, and not just positive returns, but double-digit returns every single year. This is absolutely ridiculous. In fact, if we go ahead and jump over to Forecaster and scroll down, you can see 2009, 67%, 2010, 83%, 2011, 108%, 2012, 43, 53, 36, 18. It continues to go on and on with just ridiculous, mind-blowing returns. It had one of the best decades in the entirety of the market. So naturally, this does pose the question. With them being in a significant drawdown since 2022, around a 45% drawdown, what has changed for Domino's? What is going on? And perhaps more importantly, has this created an opportunity? Those are the questions we need to answer in this video. And to break this down, we're going to be using Forecaster.biz, which you can get a discount to at the link in the description. It's a great tool, and I love how you can overlay a company's fundamentals with its share price. Remember, over the long term, share price follows fundamental growth. So let's go ahead and dive in. Now, with that being said, share price following fundamental growth, let's zoom out and look at the last 20 years. And that's exactly what you can see. Free cash flow growth has been pushing the share price higher. Now, what's interesting is you can see they're very closely aligned, except in the last year or so, free cash flow has climbed, but the share price has dropped dramatically. We've gone from around $500 a share in mid-2025, now all the way down to around $285 a share. It's been a dramatic sell-off, nearly 50%. If we look in the last 10 years, we can see sales growth has continued to climb higher. And perhaps most importantly, for a lot of income seekers, dividend growth investors, Domino's has grown their dividend substantially over the last decade. Take a look at their history of dividend growth. We can see back in just 2016, around 10 years ago, they're paying out 38 cents per share. Now we're talking about $1.99 per share. So the dividend has more than 4x'd in a 10-year time period. It's been a phenomenal dividend growth stock, and that dividend growth has been backed by growing free cash flow. So before we dive into what's going wrong, we naturally need to ask the question, how did the company achieve such impressive results for over a decade? And the answer is actually relatively simple. It all has to do with the business model. Now, on the surface level, you just think that Domino's Pizza is a company that sells pizza, but that's really not the case. When we take a look at their Q1 earnings report, yes, we can see things like retail sales globally and what the growth looks like, but to understand the business model, right here is absolutely critical. What do we have here? What we're looking at is their store counts. They have U.S. company-owned stores, U.S. franchise stores, total U.S. stores, and international stores. Take a look at this. U.S. company-owned stores is 262, U.S. franchise stores 6,924, and they're rapidly opening more. They opened 20 in the recent quarter. So now they're up to 6,943. 99% of their stores, of their locations, are operated by independent franchisees. Now, essentially, what does this mean? Well, it means Domino's doesn't have to fund and operate most of the restaurants itself. Franchisees provide most of the capital needed to open stores, they hire the workers, and operate the restaurants. What Domino's does is it earns their capital primarily through 4 different channels. They earn franchise royalties and fees, where franchisees will generally pay Domino's a percentage of their sales. Then they have supply chain operations. This is a big one, where Domino's manufactures and distributes the ingredients and supplies to the franchisees, and this accounted for 61% of Domino's reported revenue. Then we have international franchise royalties and company-owned restaurants. But this is a very small portion of the business. The real business is the franchise. Now, why did this business model allow them to scale at such a high rate? Well, the reality is this is a very capital-light business because of this business model. Think about it. They don't need a lot in assets to get high returns on their invested capital. If we jump over to the fundamentals tab and look at their ratios, take a look at this. It's quite impressive. Gross margins are strong. Profit margins are strong. But return on assets is incredibly strong. Return on invested capital is incredibly strong. Again, it's because it's such a capital-light business model. Because the franchisees are funding most new restaurants, Domino's can expand without spending enormous amounts of its own capital. And at the exact same time, they get that recurring royalty revenue. As long as these franchise stores are remaining open and continue to generate sales, Domino's is going to continue to collect royalties. So really, for Domino's, the name of the game is continuing to open new stores. And again, obviously, that's exactly what they're trying to achieve, specifically internationally right now. We can see they had 212 new international stores that were added in the first quarter of 2026. Now, that being said, they did close 51 stores, which is certainly not ideal. So yes, this business model allowed Domino's to scale at an incredible rate for the majority of the past 15 to 20 years. But something else happened along with this. What we need to do is jump over to the fundamental tab and take a close look at what those balance sheet metrics actually look like. If we start to scroll down, I want you to take a close look at what the total debt looks like for this stock. Total debt has climbed substantially. In fact, even if we take a look at net debt, Domino's net debt has increased dramatically over the last 2 decades, going from around $700 million in 2006 to around $4.8 billion in 2025. Now remember, net debt basically means the total debt minus the cash and cash equivalents. So Domino's owes substantially more than the cash it actually has available as of right now. And a lot of this debt has been used to fund things like share repurchases, dividends, refinance their existing obligations, and of course investments back into the business, which allows them to open new stores. Now there's a couple of different ways to think about this. Net debt growing in most cases is almost always going to increase the risk of the business. However, there's a couple of things we do have to think about when it comes to their business model. Debt can increase returns when the business, the underlying business, is actually performing very well. The franchise model generates relatively predictable royalty and supply chain cash flows, which makes it easier to handle the interest payments on their debt. It can fund more growth. Now, yes, as you saw, in the last 3 or so years, net debt has fallen ever so slightly, but they have a long way to go. So really, things we need to monitor would be things like net debt to EBITDA. What does their interest coverage actually look like? Right now, interest coverage is still strong, and it's manageable because of how predictable their cash flows typically are. So the increasing debt strategy worked really well when the company was seeing store openings explode and sales explode. But now that that's slowed down, everything is reversed. Now, of course, there's a number of macro issues that Domino's has had to face as of late as well, and namely inflation. $100,000 in May of 2026 is now worth about half what it was back in January of 2000. But obviously, let's get much more specific. We can see core inflation hit 3.4% in May, which was the highest since October of 2023, nearly 3 years ago. And if we get even more specific with it, what we're looking at here is a chart. The chart is showing the historical prices of cheese, obviously a core ingredient for Domino's. And we can see there was a huge spike in prices during 2022. And while it's come down a little bit just in the last few months, it's still up significantly. Food inflation is a big deal for Domino's Pizza, especially since they essentially provide the ingredients for their franchises. And then we have energy inflation. Again, yes, energy. We can see it declined a lot in 2023 and was relatively stable in 2024 and 2025, but it has surged in 2026 due to the Iran conflict. It was up 23.5% in May. Now, there's a few different ways that this actually impacts Domino's. Keep in mind, one of the key things they do as a business is supply ingredients to their stores. So this plays a large role in their cost in doing exactly that. Of course, we have delivery driver economics as well, packaging and transportation costs. While these are things that certainly impact Domino's Pizza, we also need to consider the fact that it's also impacting their consumers' disposable income. This is something I was talking about on Facebook the other day, but the U.S. personal savings rate has continued to trend lower over the last few years. We're now sitting around 3 to 5%. That, combined with the rise of inflation, creates a very weak consumer. Now, we have a little bit of background on Domino's Pizza now. What's been going on with this stock? Really, now the question we need to answer is, has this sell-off been justified, or is it oversold? We can see it now looks like there's a large disconnect from the company's fundamentals relative to how the stock has historically traded. Look at the change in the PE multiple over the last decade. This was a stock that traded at a premium. It was sitting in the high 30s PE multiple for a long time. It started to trend lower and was sitting around a 24, 25 PE multiple, but with the recent sell-off, the company now has a trailing 12-month PE multiple of just 16.37. So the multiple is now sitting well below the average of the S&P 500, and trading at these prices gives them a starting dividend yield of around 2.61%. Well, if we look at forecasters' valuation, one of the things we can see is they're giving them an average fair value of $471.50 when accounting for a few different valuation multiples, so they seem to believe that Domino's is very much undervalued. Another way of looking at this stock is through the lens of a dividend discount model, except look at it through the lens of a reverse dividend discount model. We can see if we assume 5.9% dividend growth for Domino's Pizza moving forward, that would put them at the exact share price they're currently trading at. So this is what the market is pricing in. Now, obviously, that dividend growth level seems very sustainable, especially when you consider the fact the payout ratio is quite healthy. Their historical dividend growth has been extremely strong, but keep in mind a lot of that dividend growth has been funded by increasing the debt load as well. So has Domino's Pizza become interesting at these levels? I do think it has. However, the macro environment is certainly not optimal. And when we consider the fact that Domino's is now trading at about a 16.5 PE multiple, despite the fact that EPS is really through 2030 projected to grow at close to 10%, all of a sudden, forward-looking returns start to become quite a bit more attractive, even if you don't project a lot of multiple expansion moving forward. We could be looking at double-digit compounded returns through the year 2031, and that doesn't even account for the fact that the starting yield is now around 2.61%. So there's a lot we need to keep up with if we're interested in Domino's Pizza. We need to look at what's happening with new store growth, what's happening with their consumers, and of course, what's going on with their debt load. And what's almost somewhat ironic is the board of directors recently approved $1 billion in share repurchases, but the irony of this is share repurchases are extremely effective when done at an undervaluation. Now is the time they should be pursuing these share buybacks, assuming they can manage the debt levels. So Domino's is interesting now. The business model has historically led to phenomenal returns for this stock, but the flip is script as of late. There's more competition, the consumer has weakened, and there's a lot more debt on the balance sheet. But at these prices, forward-looking returns have certainly started to become more attractive. So go ahead and let me know what you think of Domino's Pizza in the comments down below if you plan on buying or selling. And again, be sure to check out forecaster.biz at the link in the description. So with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.